What's up, guys? Mitchell Watts with Town & Country TV, and today I'm joined by my man, Nate Dogg.
What's up?
So
it's actually Nathan, but
he's like, whatever. I don't get a choice. Mitchell named me that, and now I can't say no. But anyways, we appreciate you letting me give you a nickname. But anyways, so he is one of our TC Custom specialists. In today's video, we are going to go over the lift kit that is on this particular F-150. This has got a BDS 6-inch coilover lift kit, and we're going to be talking about specifically whether or not a coilover lift kit is a waste of money. The first thing that we need to do is go through every single part included in this lift kit, so that way you can actually see what a BDS lift kit actually pertains. So what we'll do is go ahead and grab a couple of different boxes. Do you have any preferences?
Yeah, actually, so what we can do is we can start off with all the BDS boxes that are in the white boxes. So BDS on all these kits kind of brand them with their own kits. And the beauty of this is regardless if you got a coilover kit or a spacer kit, these components are going to be the exact same.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
So, yeah.
So there's really not that many differences between a normal lift and a coilover lift.
Right. So, you know, you may be wondering why is it such a big price change if a lot of the boxes are the same. But we'll get into that once we start unboxing the coilovers.
Very cool. Okay, so the very first thing up here, I'll go ahead and pull it out. See, he's my resident expert, so, okay, that's heavy.
You're gonna be the muscle man?
Jeez. All right, so what we got here?
We have a steering knuckle. So I didn't pay attention if this was a driver or passenger side, but this is replacing the factory steering knuckle with one for BDS to give you that suspension geometry to make sure it's the same.
Okay.
Because otherwise, if you're putting 6 inches, you want to make sure that your steering is right, and that this helps with ride quality. One of the things you'll notice, and I know you notice, but maybe a lot of other people don't, is how substantial this is over a factory steering knuckle.
Yeah.
So you are getting a really high quality part, well made. It's very beefy.
This is one of the main things that keeps all of the steering geometry correct. This is why it actually will ride a little bit better. And the reason it's so heavy, because this is a cast steel, is that correct?
Yeah.
So this dude has got a lot of beef to it. So
it's a solid block of steel.
Yeah, that's why your boy over here is struggling. Either that or it's just because I haven't been to the gym in way too long. So, all right, let's go ahead and grab the next part. While Nathan is grabbing the other box, the next box that is, I want to remind you guys, we are actually giving away this Bronco. So that Bronco, if you go to tccustoms.com, pick you out a shirt, a hat, any kind of merchandise, for every $1 spent, gets you 1 entry into that giveaway. That's a guaranteed giveaway. So go ahead and check that out. Links down below. But yeah, it's going to be an awesome time. So what you got here?
We got the other steering knuckle.
Okay, easy peasy.
So you got one for your driver's side, one for passenger side. Identical, just, you know, mirrored.
So move that box out the way.
Yeah.
I won't be the muscle man. He's at least got to be the box guy, right?
I mean, I brought it over.
That is very true. That's very true. It looks exactly the same. You know what? We never actually talked about where this goes. So I know most of the guys and gals watching this channel probably know what this is and where it goes. But just in case you didn't know, the image right there on the screen, that's where it goes. It goes right next to the tires in the front of the vehicle.
It connects to the upper control arm. And
yep, and it, just for the layman's terms, if you will, this is the steering knuckle. Basically, you have a bolt that goes in here, and you have a bolt that goes in here, and this thing literally steers, it turns. This is how your tires turn. If you can imagine that your wheel and tire is bolted up right here, that is how it actually turns. That's a terrible way of explaining it, but kind of gets the point
We'll have
across.
footage that'll help out.
Thank you.
All right, so this box, it's not as big, but it definitely weighs just about the same.
Does it
It's
really?
a little surprising. This is the rear box kit.
Okay. Rear box.
Yep, so what you're gonna have in here is you're gonna have your spacers for the rear. Get all this other stuff out of the way. Yeah. Again, solid blocks of steel, so.
Yeah, that tends to weigh a little bit, doesn't it? All right, you wanna get rid of the box?
Yep.
All right. So talk us through what we're looking at.
So it's pretty simple. You just got these blocks that go in the rear. You know, you already have factory blocks that are a lot shorter though, but you will have these to be able to get that raise in the rear.
Okay.
If you don't put these on here, that's where you get that Carolina squat. So
Roll Tide or
you know.
I'm sorry.
And then these are the new U-bolts that go around the rear axle. For these, they are longer to compensate for the bigger spacers.
Okay, but basically this goes in between the leaf spring and the axle to basically push everything down a little bit further. This is what goes to bolt everything together. This little space right here, this is designed to push everything down to give you that extra lift. This piece right here is actually designed to be the relocated bump stop. So if you go into full articulation and the vehicle actually goes all the way down, this is what actually hits the bump stop to keep it from coming all the way into the bed of the truck. So a little bit of a fun little know-how for you. That's what that is. All right, what we got back here, just I guess normal
it's just
hardware.
all the bolts and mounting brackets for these and your U-bolts here.
Easy enough. So. Awesome. All right, let's check out the next one.
All right, so now we got one of the front box kits.
Okay. Oh, this is the bread and butter right here. Throw those boxes around. Let's
flip that around.
Okay. All right. That's beefy.
You know you got good quality when everything's heavy.
Yeah.
Right?
that's how you
equate
judge it, right?
Weight with quality.
All right, so I know what this is, but for you guys, and since you're our resident tech expert, what we got here?
Yeah, so this is a Crossmember. So this is going to drop everything on the front end down, and then you have these brackets as well to help just relocate everything. So basically, all this is relocating the front end.
Yep.
Your front end axle, all that, and then you do have this cover as well. So it's kind of nice that I know you say this a lot in a lot of the videos, but you're almost like you're getting some skid plate protection because this is a cover for that front diff.
That's exactly right. So that is what it is, really a skid plate for that front diff. But the other piece that I'm always talking about is the angle at which this front cross member is. You know, the BDS location right here, it kind of actually acts as a pseudo lift kit, and he's exactly right. Now what happens is you have the lower control arms, which basically means on the front end of the vehicle, the piece that moves up and down that allows that's where they bolt up right in here. That's what that's for. From the factory, they bolt up to these upper holes. So you basically take this, you slide this in where the normal lower control arms would normally go, and you bolt that in. And then you bolt the lower control arms in the new drop down area right here. That's how it keeps everything in that proper.
Yeah, so you got to think you got those new steering knuckles.
Yes.
That's what they are. You got the new steering knuckles that are longer. So in order to keep that geometry, you got to move that lower control arm down, which is what the whole purpose of this is. So.
Absolutely. And then I know you already talked about it, but the sway bar, you've actually got the drop bracket for that. And the other cool part is you paid for it, so they actually give you a BDS little metal bracket that goes on the outside of this, so that way people, as you guys are walking around your car, you can see that you paid for.
You got that BDS.
That's exactly right.
Showing it off.
And guys, also a lot of this stuff is going to be carryover no matter what brand of suspension component that you get. So this is not a BDS specific tutorial or a BDS specific. I will tell you that we are actually running a discount right now. So if you use the link down below, that'll get you an automatic discount because we ordered a ton of these things a long time ago. We got a warehouse full of them.
We've got basically every variation for a 21 F-150 in stock. So
that's exactly right. So what I'm going to do, I don't think it'll last that long, but we will offer let's just do 10% discount on the next 25 kits that we sell. If you use that link, it'll automatically apply that discount code. But once that 25 has been sold, that 10% is off. So just kind of keep that in mind. But keep in mind, there's a lot of manufacturers that make some really great lift kits. Like for instance, FabTech makes a freaking fantastic lift kit for the F-150, and then they've also got some new stuff coming out for the Bronco.
Wink, wink, right?
Yeah, wink, wink, wink. But anyway, so they've got some great stuff coming down the pipe. But this is not just a BDS specific tutorial. So I can't wait to see what else we got.
All right, so this is the last of the components that will be the same between a non-coilover and a coilover.
All right. Hey, you got the sticker. That's worth at least 10 horsepower, right?
At least.
Okay, so what we've got here, guys, this is going to be the same cross-member drop-down bracket that we showed you just a second ago that had BDS, but this is for the backside of that cross-member. So if you think about it, we mentioned those control arms are moving up and down, and we had to relocate those further down. That's why that cross-member was there. Well, for the front part of that control arm, that's where that front piece goes. This is where the rear of that lower control arm bolts up, is going to be right here and right here. So think about it, you have two drop down brackets, one in the front, one in the back of the truck. This is that backside. Yep. And in full disclosure, there's a good reason that I don't work on these trucks myself, because I don't have a clue what this is for. Do you know?
I don't know specifically, not being a technician, but I do know that, you know, for a lot of these components that are like this, these are just new mounting brackets for all the factory components that will remain on the vehicle.
That's exactly right. And if I had to guess, roast me in the comments if I'm wrong, but if I had to guess, I would have to say this is probably the new mounting hardware for lowering the front differential.
Yeah.
So
this is the cutout.
That's exactly right. So normally you've got the front differential is in a specific place. Well, when you do this lift kit, it requires removing a portion or a tab of the frame itself. So that's one of the reasons this is a permanent modification. You're never going back to the factory ride height. They actually drop that differential down, and I would venture to guess this probably has something to do with mounting up that new location for that front differential.
Yeah, this kind of brings up a good point too, as you know, we get a lot of customers that ask, hey, I have a two-wheel drive F-150. Will this kit work with a two-wheel drive? Well, as you can see, that these mounting brackets, they're designed for a four-wheel drive vehicle, and the location of all the bolts where everything connects is specific to a four-wheel drive, which is why it won't work on a two-wheel drive.
Okay, well, cool. Now that we've got all of the components that are the same for both the coilover and non-coilover, now we're getting into the meat and potatoes of this video. Now let's talk about this shock absorbers. So BDS has got two different shock absorbers. I'm gonna go ahead and unbox this one. Nate Dogg, tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah, so we actually have here not only two different shocks, but also for two different kits. So what you're unboxing is the NX2 series shock, which is made by BDS, and that's for a 4-inch kit. So that is their in-house branded shock. So which it is technically an upgrade from your factory shocks. You know, we'll give you a little bit better ride quality there in the rear, and it should have a little bit better longevity as well. So absolutely.
What's interesting to know is he said it exactly right. This is their in-house version of the shock. Well, what a lot of people don't realize is that BDS is owned by Fox Holdings. So technically you could say they're both in-house.
Yeah, I guess you could technically say that's a Fox shock. Well, that might be a stretch.
Yeah,
throw a Fox sticker on there maybe.
You know, hey, and you do get stickers for it too. Hey, you got the NX BDS, but yeah, good stuff there. So what we'll do now is let's take a look at the Fox upgraded shock. So as you can probably imagine, since it is an upgraded shock and it's also designed specifically for a different size lift kit. So once again, this is for a 4-inch lift kit because we wanted to show you the size difference. This is for the 6-inch lift kit, and look at that, dude. That is a pretty good difference. Now, I don't know if this is gonna work on camera, but I'm gonna hold these up to you guys. Look at the shaft diameter difference in between those two. So you can see that this Fox right here has actually got a shaft that is significantly larger than this version over here. That is actually designed on purpose to basically allow you to take hits pretty hard, go over whoops and stuff like that.
Yeah, absolutely. So it'll give you a little bit more durability, there being a thicker rod in there, but also not only is it more durability, but it also pushes more fluid too.
Okay.
So that'll help you with the dampening.
Okay.
So it's able to move more fluid versus a smaller diameter rod.
Okay. Now let me ask you this: do you have to order a coilover lift kit to get this shock in the rear?
You do not, which is a great thing. So if you're wanting better ride quality, at least in the rear of the truck, where there's not as much weight and it is bouncing around a lot more, you can get the Fox shocks for a spacer kit.
There you go. There you go. You heard it first from my man, Nate Dogg. All right, so I guess now let's talk about the shock and the struts in the front of the vehicle.
Absolutely.
And because I think that's pretty much what we got left, isn't it?
That's the last thing.
So we saved the best for the last, so let's take a look.
All right, so this one has already been opened. You'll see why in just a minute. But this is the spacer box for the 6-inch kit. And a 4-inch kit is going to look just like this, just not 6 inches, just a little bit shorter. So this is the spacer that goes right on top of the strut tower, just bolts right on. So it's giving you that 6 inches of lift in the front. And then here's all your bolts that go with it for mounting it up.
Well, instead of telling them about it, let's just show it to them. So what we have here is a Ford factory OEM front strut for an F-150. And I'm trying not to damage our fancy table that we have here. But yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so like I was saying, this just mounts right on top of the strut itself. So it's giving you that 6 inches of lift on it. So That's one of the big differences between a spacer kit and a coilover kit is that, you know, obviously you've got to add 6 inches onto this versus the coilover kit is the coils are 6 inches just taller all around.
I see.
Yeah.
Now, one of the reasons we have so many people that are like, man, this BDS lift kit rides so much like factory, because it's the exact factory front shock and factory strut but basically is you've got the coil and then you've got the strut on the inside of it.
Yeah.
That's the reason that it drives the same is because we're keeping the suspension geometry the same.
Right.
You're keeping the spring rate the same. You're keeping the dampening in the front the same.
You're just moving it 6 inches.
That's exactly right. So now let's compare that to the big boy, which is the Coilover. Don't worry, we're going to answer your question here in just a second about whether it is a waste of money, or maybe we'll answer it. Depends on how many of you guys like the video. So let's see what he's got. Now, I will tell you though, I'm going to keep this up here so that way we can
We're going to try.
Yeah. Hopefully that big box doesn't absolutely snap the table.
Yeah, so this is the heaviest box that you will have here.
There we go. Ooh, those things are big.
And look, you know that you're spending some money on these when they want to make sure that they're padded real well.
Yes. Yeah, this is the only foam we've seen in this entire kit.
Right.
That's very interesting.
So right off the bat, you're going to notice, one, you know, everything's colored differently. They want you to know that you got the Fox system, right? You want it to be able to stand out. You spent the money.
Yep.
Why not let everyone know you got a Fox suspension? Overall height difference, you can see that this one's got the spacer on it, and they are the same height, right? And then one of the big differences on this kit is the remote reservoir. So
what in the world does that mean?
So, well, you know, so like on this shock, all the oil and all the fluids are in the shock itself. So it has to move within that.
Okay.
On the remote reservoir, you have this reservoir with the hose. So some of the fluid's in here still, but some of it's in here as well.
Okay.
So the big advantage to that is it allows the fluid to stay cool for longer periods of time. So if you're into high-speed off-roading, you know, the whoops like you talked about, if you're wanting to do that and not sacrifice ride quality, this is definitely the way to go.
So I also see on this particular reservoir, we've got a little knob here. I'm assuming that's to refill it, is that right?
Yeah, that's where they filled it up from the factory.
Okay,
So there are some other models that do have an adjustable knob there, which is, they call it their DSC kit. It's adjustable, so that way you can adjust it for on-road use. You can adjust it for heavy off-road use. You do have control over the amount of fluid that's being able to be moved through the hose into the reservoir.
Very cool. Now, I also noticed that this looks like it's adjustable as well. So if you are looking for that adjustable ride height, meaning that you don't want it quite 6 inches of lift in the front, maybe you can turn it down and get yourself maybe, 5.5 inches of lift in the front. So
and you know, it is already pre-spaced though for 6 inches, so you don't have to worry about making that adjustment for 6 inches when you get it. It's already ready to go for 6 inches.
Bolt it up and go, good to go.
And again, just like on the rear shocks, I mean, you can't really see it because they have a dust shield on the factory ones, but there is a thicker rod that is on the front struts just like on the rear as well. So again, more durability, and then also it is able to move that fluid more, keep it cooler.
Now it comes to the decision time where we tell you whether or not we think that these coilovers are actually worth the money. Now keep in mind that everybody's situation is different, but I'm curious, what's your opinion?
Yeah, I think personally, if you can afford it, if this is within your budget, the coilover system is 100% the best way to go. It is going to give you the best ride quality. With that being said, I know I'm probably going to sound like I'm contradicting myself a little bit, but really, like you mentioned before, you know, a lot of people do claim that even the spacer kit gives them that factory ride quality, which it honestly does. It doesn't feel like you have a lift kit on your truck. It is sitting higher, but it still rides like a different factory. So it's a great kit. You're not going to have any complaints there with ride quality. If you are a serious off-roader, though, this is 100% the kit to go.
Absolutely, and I agree with everything he just said. But just to say a little bit more, it comes down to your budget and your needs. If you are driving a pavement princess and you don't have the money for the coilover, get the spacer kit. If the opposite is true, whether you have the money, you just want to spend it for a higher end suspension, get it. Or if you need that extra, suspension, go for it. And there you have it. That is our look at a coilover versus a non-coilover lift kit. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. I want to remind you one more time, we are giving away this Bronco right behind me. Go to tccustoms.com for every hat, shirt, any kind of merchandise. For every $1 spent is one entry into that giveaway. So go ahead and check out that. Links are down below. And once again, we're going to run a very limited time discount coupon code on this BDS lift kit, so check out that link down below for that automatic application into that discount as well, guys. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you haven't already done so, subscribe to the channel with the bell notification turned on so you don't miss a single video. Peace.